You may have already seen this box in my last 101. This is my holy treasure. It contains every combo pieces I used throughout the year, and I think it's finally time I show to the world what is 3-axis. Does it only mean that it's a deck built around level 3s? Does it have any links to the craziest and most convoluted combos? Or is 3-axis just a layer hiding what is the true essence of a Yu-Gi-Oh combo? Well, the answer is yes to all of them. All the random FTK I uploaded on my channel have a link, which can only be comprehended by diving deep into this unknown community and understand the main purpose of playing this deck. By my own research and experience, this first episode of this new series will introduce you to 3-axis and give some recognition to unknown yet unbelievable achievement of the past. For that, I will ask you to close your eyes and get rid of every misconception about FTKs, whether it is the number of bricks, whether it is that it dies to one entrap, and also I will ask you to not fear the combo.
On était 5 à jouer World Calice dans la salle, donc c'est quand même un deck qui est pas très populaire en France et qui est très compliqué à jouer et qui est pas très populaire.
Cherubini can send Carbonated, which gets us Galaxy Serpent, which gets us it.
You end up bubbling with Roll Chalice, right?
I think this deck is really good on most players don't play it because it's just fun.
Right.
I had to find a way to get to Sarinja and Ferret without him, using the new Link monster that will come out soon, that are Middle Figure and Link Rocks.
Also the co-creator of World Challenge, and once again is the creator of another crazy shit. This is all called Kombo Malaysia. This is really insane.
Attendez.
Il y a un putain de dinosaure au cimetière.
What the fuck?
Et tout ça, c'est grâce à qui? Grâce à Cherubini.
Le Gilazor au cimetière.
Let's go back to a time that Cherubini wasn't even playable. A time where the very concept of FTKs wasn't even acknowledged by the community, trying to forget the error of card design Konami made in the past. During that time, it was really hard for a deck to consistently access to a starter that will lead you to a combo. This was due to the lack of generic support, the lack of Link monsters. 8 years ago, a name appeared in front of our eyes. This is Tainted Wisdom. He is one of the most well-known combo makers in this community because he was one of the first people who introduced the player base a combo that was taking multiple linear steps. As the time advanced and more generic support got released, the combo became more and more advanced. They were taking more steps, but the problem was, between all the starter we could use, there was a link missing between them. Something that will help them serve the same purpose. When you think about it, if that's not for the pointing zone, isn't it why Link Monster were named like that? From here, combo in general just took a completely different form. It will become what may be the most complicated strategy of this game. Borderline scientific. While most players from that era would think that Firewall was the main enabler for FTKs, relying on deck full of extenders, to dig through their deck manually with a non-linear combo in a freestyle way, there was other type of players who wanted to build combo with a linear part, with starter and extender serving the same purpose. Combo creation was mostly popular in the OCG, with crazy creators like Sonos for example, who may be the first person to create a 3-axis combo deck. This guy was just a madman. He was already using Cherubini in 2017 as soon as it got announced in the OCG and abused it countless times alongside with Isolde. You may think that this is the first real 3-axis combo ever made. Well, I'm sorry, but it goes even deeper than this. When writing the script of this video, everything made sense to me. The arrival of Link Monster will help us to create FTK with generic resources, such as 2 level 3 or 2 warriors, and you could build your deck around that specific type of monster in order to turbo out an enabler. But in 2016, before Link even came out, this guy was already FTKing with 2 random level 3s And it was also the case for countless decks like Ignite or 4-Axis, before it was even a concept being possible for the player base, because YCS didn't existed at that time. He has so many incredible achievements that I will never be able to talk about everything in this video, so I invite you to search for them for yourself. I promise it will be very fun. And as you can guess, with how the power creep has been progressing throughout the years, the generic support that will come out will indirectly help combo makers. The more and more we advance in time, the more we'll see that FTK players develop so much themselves that they will all have their own unique way to combo. One of the most well-known in the community is of course Sonos, but there are also people like Sigma the Yu-Gi-Oh! And other incredible people uploading constantly on the Ready for Duel Facebook group. I could also talk about the fact that H2C4N6 is specialized into hand looping, that Big Eye Yu-Gi-Oh! Loves to summon a Doomdong from his tour guide as his signature starter, that Stardust Yu-Gi-Oh! Is trying his best to revive Infernities, that Sunlight Teams start all his combos with a Summoner Monk, and so on. In today's format, making an FTK isn't really hard. In fact, some people find it so easy that they are trying to create challenge in order to improve their creation. I can talk about the fact that how Misaki challenged himself to make every infinite loop of the game, how he started making challenge like FTKing from only needle fiber with no links, which will be achieved by Big Eye a little bit later on, how he started making ZTKs, which mean zero turn kill, with a stacked deck. That means that when your opponent is going first, you will be able to FTK him during his draw phase using only quick effect without getting a turn for yourself. And finally, I can talk about his challenge to Chainlink 100 and all the other crazy things that he will probably continue to upload later. As you can see, Kombo evolved to an incredible point, but it also means that the competitive game evolved too. With more and more disruption at our disposal, whether it is hand traps or quick effects to disrupt our opponent's plays, the one-card combo players slowly but surely disappeared from tournaments. With the game becoming too fast for them, the Dark Warrior and Ip combo disappeared from the top tables, whether it would be banned or not, solely because of the idea that they would die to one hand trap. But there was a Discord server who fought against this type of things. A server composed of people who saw their deck being hit many times, but who were always been able to adapt their combo to the new ban list and play at the higher tier of competitive level. I'm talking about the World Chalice Discord. I joined this place after winning against Florian Costes, who would become a great friend of mine. At the time, I was playing Infernoids and I was able to win that match. But I was so amazed by how he piloted his World Chalice deck that I just wanted to try it out. It wasn't like anything I've seen before. I knew that Spiral existed, that Gookie existed, that every combo with Firewall Loop was insane looking, but what kept me captivated was the fact that he mastered his deck so well that I just wouldn't mind getting completely destroyed by this guy because it was just magnificent, which motivated to learn that deck thanks to him, especially when he got second place at our French National with that deck a few weeks later. But there was a drastic change when this card came out. The day Nibiru came out gave Kombo players the highest possible fear for their deck, but this day will lead to a completely revolution of combo deck building. During that time, the people in the World Chalice Discord were trying their best to find counter to end traps in order to protect their one-card combo. But after that time, there was a little interaction that gave a new breath to the 3-axis build that was long forgotten about. This idea was slowly rising among the World Chalice players, and something that will really help popularize that fact is the video from Blade YGO showcasing this interaction.
So I think Cherubini is very underrated, and so is the World Chalice Justice here. And well, Cherubini can send Carbonated, which gets us Galaxy Serpent, which gets us Ib. So what if we combine the two into a deck and it actually worked?
Cherubini is such an insane monster. It was first allowing us to turbo Ib more consistently because we could transform all our specific starters into level 3 extenders. But it will also give us what will be the first feeling of baiting your opponent. The best example I can give is a Tempest Magician Infinite Loop FTK made by Lucas. This combo was mind-blowing because he was able to search Ferret by searching Abra Mirage, by calculating exactly how to keep 5 Dark Monsters in the graveyard mid-combo to summon it. Crowship wasn't even out yet, so you couldn't even search Ferret with Brotor. This was the first time I tried to play 3-axis, and I tried myself to take this build to the French regional of Bordeaux. I actually did pretty well, assuming I didn't even have money to buy Appaloosa at the time, and I ended up doing 4-1-3 by losing every dice roll. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I felt like there was definitely still a potential because my result was still positive, and especially for a first try, without even having the support I needed. After this event, there was also kkid, who bubbled with a level 3 build World Chalice Christian Turbo during the YCS London.
There's a lot of things that I want to talk about the event. I think I also talked, I already talked about my first matchup. Basically it was my first game to just getting Winterlocked out of the game, and the second game to just him opening, because he had the information of me playing a combo deck because he only had Winder. He knew that he just needed to side out board breaker cards and shit like that, and he just had the odds to my board, and it was very unfortunate. What really annoyed me was I was at the top table and I just couldn't show off my deck to even very high profile Yugi tubers. I think Simo was looking and shit like that. And I feel like I was done dirty because I showed the worst about the deck because it just lost. It just lost in a terrible manner I should have never lost in. And I really dislike that because that's usually not how the deck, how games
it's the weird situation where everything you calculated doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. And you feel oh, they're these high profile Yugi tubers, and what mattered to me was if they see this list, I can basically tell the world how good this deck actually is.
Yeah.
Deck profile with Simo or something. He would just show the list. I don't care about the credit, I don't care about anything. I don't want to be actually in the video, but I just want people to know. This deck is good, this deck is a sleeper deck, and
I felt so bad about it too, the whole time I played 3-axis. Since I began to be in the World Chalice Discord, that's a feeling I always had.
Yeah, it's a shame, because these decks just don't have the publicity they should have. Especially World Chalice is a deck that I feel really deeply with. It was my first deck I played in Master Rule 4, for example. They're the first deck I got in Master Rule 4. And it was a deck that stuck with me through 2016 till now. The playstyle of the deck just changed and evolved over time. It was so fun to me. It's such a non-intuitive deck to play, but it's so interesting. It's such a very interesting deck. So yeah, I was a bit sad. A bit sad I just lost that one game. I think my second game was, I don't really remember what I played against, but it was in a very similar fashion that I lost to. And my third loss was the one that hurt the most. That was a really fucking bad one.
Usually the first loss in the regional are the most brutal ones, the one I had.
First one that didn't hurt. It was it was a game of luck, in my opinion. It was just oh, he opened the combo, the one combo that just kills me, because just getting Winterlock was for me. I just can't do anything against that.
Yeah, of course.
If he had something just the standard setup of a Barbel, maybe the counter trap, I could have maybe pulled through that, you never know. I don't remember the hand, but it's a board that's breakable in a sense.
Yeah.
If you get Windered, there's no comeback.
There is no, aside from side deck cards, you cannot do anything.
Yeah, basically, especially World Chalice, other decks maybe. World Chalice just straight up loses to a Christian-like card. I just scooped after the Winterlock. He had the information I play a special summon deck. He just sided in counter cards for special summon decks, combo decks, and I lost to them. It's a shame, but that happens.
Yeah.
So it didn't hurt because I knew it was just luck.
Yeah.
I was a bit mad at his luck.
You cannot do anything about it. Your deck has a win con going first. He has also the same thing, and he happened to draw the side. You could have done the same thing if you won the dice roll, basically. So yeah. It's just a win-win ratio on the dice roll at that point.
Yeah, it was just it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Then my second loss, I don't really remember. I think that was like just like a normal game, like game 3 scenario. Like it didn't really frustrate me. It was like, yeah, we both played well, we both played really good, but like he just drew better, played the better deck, maybe better out. I don't really remember. I lost. I really like it was not a memorable game for me. Like it was just happened. But game three that I lost, that fucking stung, because that was the game that made sure that I just couldn't top anymore.
I saw in your like video you said like you did sadly you did like some misplayed and like it cost you like everything.
Yeah, it cost me so much. It was so much.
Yeah.
Like the third loss I had, this was the most awful one. It was against a French player, just like you.
Oh.
I remember like game 1, I just fucking rocked him. He had nothing on me, right? I went first year, I was like, let's go. And I knew he played Thunder Dragon. He tried to play through it and just couldn't. And he played poor Thunder Dragon, game 2. I remember game 2 vividly because that fucking pissed me off still till today. I'm still molding about it. It's so annoying. The best thing is like friends of mine are still joking about it. We're still making memes about it. It's like so fucking... But what happened? He summoned Colossus. And this is something I have to mention definitely. During that period of time where YCS London was, the strongest deck against my deck was Thunder Dragons.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was the only deck that I actually would struggle with because Colossus just says no.
Yeah, like everything started like Lee and stuff.
It's so bad. Like I had no engine. So he just set up one Colossus and passed. And I thought to myself, well, he probably has a shit hand, alright? Which happens.
Yeah.
I went for Borrelord Dragon, stole his monster.
Borrelord was so broken. I won so many games during like the regional I made by losing every dice roll just because of Borrelord and like the fact that it wasn't outable. It was outing Thunder Dragon and it was so hard to deal with for like deck like Altergeist because it targets.
Yeah, Borrelord Dragon was definitely like a really powerful card. I played Borrelord Dragon over Borrelord Dragon. The reason was Red MD was played back then. Like I played Red MD, and Red MD was pre-errata Red MD. Red MD already had like 2800, you know? So I felt like I never was short of game. Like I already had like Red MD, like with 2800 I could just push through. Like I had a lot of damage on board. I never felt like I would lose out on game. What was more important was to out the board. And I looked at Borrelord and Borrelord, and Borrelord could out Colossus, but Borrelord couldn't.
Yeah, understandable.
So that's why I went with Borrelord Dragon, and it came in clutch in that moment. I stole his Colossus and passed, right? And he like draw a card, set a card, and passed again. And I drew, and I had full combo in hand. But like his Colossus got sent to the graveyard.
Yeah, I was saying,
break on net and just like do shit. Summon 5 happened. He looked me dead in the eyes. Nibiru.
Oof.
I looked at him, I was like, oh fuck me. No, I played into it. I could have made Appaloosa before. I already had enough monsters to make Appaloosa. Like I had enough monsters to go to 5 summons with Borrelord on the board. I should have definitely made Appaloosa before just like continuing.
Yeah, and sometimes like you feel you have game and like you forget like the simple thing like this.
And he's like King Nibiru. I'm like, no. I was in shock. I was like, how did I make this mistake? This is actually like infuriating. I'm like, I looked at him for like, it felt like an eternity. He just showed me the card. And I tried like everything. I was like, how many sums did I do? I like counted in my head. I was like, this is 5. This is the 5th sum. Like, fuck me. And he said the most infuriating shit ever. He was like, I just looked at him. I couldn't say anything because I was like really mad. This was my chance to talk. Now Nibiru happened. I was like, this can't be happening right now. I fucked it up. I should have gone into Appaloosa. Why didn't I go into Appaloosa? Why did I try to just push through game? Like I should have just played it safe, made Appaloosa. If I can't go for game, whatever. Like I should have done that.
Yeah, the thing about that deck is like it's so hard. You have to constantly think about your combos, or else like.
And he said the most infuriating shit ever. And he said, 5 summons, yes. I looked at him like, you fucking cunt. I was like, can't fucking say that to me. You fucking dickhead. Why? Why would you say that? Yes.
It's kind of like the people who said like, you have to build a better deck or something like that.
Yeah, it's basically that.
Oh my god.
summons, yes. I was like, no, why? He drew me, I passed on his token, he just killed me afterwards. I was like, game free, I can change this, I can pull this around. I go first, see my hand, nothing, like poor bricks, like
Whoa.
awful hand. Like generally I usually have like at least a way to go into Ipsync. Not even a way to go into Ipsync for nothing. I was like, okay, pass. Like he's just like, well, just OTK'd me. I was like, yeah, right. Well, good games, I guess. Really mad about that. This was my second to last match, you know?
Yeah, I can understand. Like you build everything until now, and like everything just like disappear.
And then I just sit down. I'm like, what the fuck? This was like my second to last match of this tourney, and I just look up, you know, like look up. I'm at my table. I look up at the right, and like there's a big screen there, you know, where the feature matches are made. The feature match of this tournament are shown on like. My opponent of the last round was featured in this match.
Oh, so you are going to be featured?
Like I would have been featured if I won that match.
Oh.
It stung. It really stung. I was like, oh
no.
I lost so much to Nibiru. I lost everything, like to Nibiru. Lost almost everything. That's why I have a fucking distaste for this card. It's
I can definitely understand. Like the moment where you forget it hits you back.
Yeah, it stung. It stung definitely at that moment. Like the thing is, like after like the time passed, it was definitely better. But like Jesus.
Yeah, at first, like you must have felt like so bad about it. Like you had game and.
Yeah. It's definitely like something that stings. And like basically what happened afterwards was a copy pasta was created by fellow friends in the DDD Discord and shit like that. And this is it. This is the poem. It's really perfection. There once was a man from Germany who summoned a monster too many. He wanted it up, but ran into a rock. And now he doesn't have any. His sword was a little too frail. His negates came out at the speed of a snake.
Bruh.
Was in big trouble and ended with a bubble. And now is in horny jail.
Well,
that's how like basically my YCS saga ended. It was a bit painful, like a bit painful. And then just like the worst thing that happened, like it got banned, and I never had the chance.
Yeah, same. Like it was horrible.
I remember like I was standing there. I was like still a bit salty because of everything that happened. Like went and just like talked to the few and was like, "Yo, noticed you're making deck profiles here. Like I played World Challenge." Bubbled 8-3, like if you want to, like can make a deck profile. And he was like, yeah, right, sounds good. I was chilling there, making a lot of deck profiles with different people. And I remember like one thing vividly, like basically a Thunder Dragon player went to him who topped and talked to him. And I remember Lithium like looking at him was like, he said like, I already made deck profile with like 3 Thunder Dragons player. I honestly don't think like we need more. And I remember that and was like, wow, so like that's kind of interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really had an amazing matchup against Sky Striker because they kind of lose against Christia. It's kind of funny. Like it sounds like they shouldn't lose to Christia, but they unironically kind of do. Because
they need to use the Kagari and stuff.
Like they just can't go into their engine. And with Puppy in hand, I don't care about Widow Anchor. Although I do care about Widow Anchor. If they Widow Anchor me, I always had Puppy in hand to protect it. So like it was really, really like they actually kind of lost against Christian. I would just kill them next turn. It's really funny because I didn't imagine I would have that much of a good Sky Striker matchup, but I actually kind of did.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, but it shouldn't, but I kind of did. Like Puppy definitely protected, helped a lot against that matchup.
Puppy is the best hand trap.
Yeah, it's such a good hand trap. Like that, it being a hand comes up. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, like first it's a good card, but second, like it's the cutest.
So adorable. But yeah, I remember like it stung so much. But yeah, so like that's how like it ended. Yeah, I remember like MK40 talking about it. Like I looked at it and I was like, yeah, he like got it right. Like literally everything is completely correct. What was really a shame about that one was that at Lithium's video, I've completely forgot to like show the combo off. Like there's this basic combo which plays through Nibiru, plays through like.
How could he play through Nibiru and stuff? I'm pretty sure like the comments were about that.
There was a lot of people who asked for combos in the comment section. I remember that.
Oh,
like I think I posted a link.
Yeah.
I posted a link to the combo video, but I think like the thing was like I remember like we did a video. He was done basically, and I was like, oh yeah, combo, and he was like, I'm already done with the video. I'm just going to straight up upload it that way. I'm like, oh, what a bummer. And he was like, well, you can just send a link in the comment section or something like that. And I remember also like Phoenix Flare X probably happy from seeing World Shadows do something. And,
yeah, I suppose so.
And Phoenix Flare X just said no. It's so fucking funny to me.
Yeah, I know like he played so much World Shadows that he became like he's sick of it, kind of.
He got sick of it, and like I laughed a bit. Because he was like, no. But yeah, like one other thing was like a friend of mine commented. He said like, my mate Kid, the absolute lad. I'm like, what's up?
Yeah, because like we were all in the World Chase Discord, so like we were calling you kkid.
Yeah, I love it. World Shell is stuck with me a lot through times, just because it's like it's more of an engine than an actual combo deck in a sense. Like it doesn't have an end board, it doesn't have a single boss monster, but every single link monster is an extender. If they are linked off, they special summon from the end. Everything works together so well. Like there are some cards that are just missing. Like for example, how do you get buddies on the field for like World Shellers? There are a few things I don't like about World Shellers, and I feel like Lee and Puppy should have been considered like normal monsters.
Yeah. I was about to say that. The fact that you can search Willy, but not extra normal the monster you search is really frustrating.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. That shouldn't be the case. Yeah. Like, I feel like it should have been considered a normal monster. Just so you can link it off into Imduck, like for like at least... I know it would be a bit strong maybe, just because like you have this one card combo with like the Chalice itself.
Yeah.
It's really, really frustrating that you just can't do like Lee is the search after card, but it just does nothing after you summon it.
Yeah.
And it's really, really not dope. It's really sad. And like you need like so many extenders to make it work. And World Chalice itself, like the thing is, World Chalice is just not that searchable, and it's like very frustrating.
Yeah, it's like, all about like drawing your pieces.
Because like World Chalice itself, the like World Legacy World Chalice is the starter card of the deck. It's like the core piece. You want to resolve World Legacy World Chalice because it does everything. But it isn't a starter in the sense of a starter because you need a monster on the field to trip it off so you can summon it.
Yeah, like so it's a starter. It's almost like an extra deck monster because like you need to like turbo it, and then when it resolves it becomes broken. But like it's really hard to set up, kind of.
And you need to search it too. Yeah, it's kind of like it actually is kind of like an extra deck monster that you have to play in the main deck.
Yeah.
Which is like the thing that's very painful about it, because there's just no way to summon it. It's so hard to fucking summon it sometimes. Like I always had like an on-off thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I always played it a bit. Like I think I remember that I played on Death Pro a lot, like in 2010. But I was like a bit young there, so I never had money to actually get a deck. And only like in 2016 around-ish, I actually like tried to go competitive, played regionals, played competitively. And like the first deck I played at an event was Blue Eyes, and it performed rather poorly, even though it was like one of the best decks of this period. Oh, no, it wasn't. Actually, I'm lying. It was right after like the Metal Force was out, and Metal Force and Peleos were the best decks of the format, yeah. Zeus weren't out yet. Like I lent this deck from like a friend of mine, and I got it, and I was like, okay, I played it. Didn't play like optimally, like definitely not optimally. I also didn't enjoy the deck too much. It was really fun. It was really, really fun, and I still love Blue Eyes kind of because of it, just because of this one event. But it didn't stick with me too much. And I remember that I went ahead and looked at meta decks, and I played on Death Pro at the time a lot. And I played against this one person who played DDD. Like, he sucked with the deck so much. It was so bad. But I still lost to it because the deck, like, he did something, but it kind of worked. I don't know. Like, I read he, like, did some things. It's like, this deck, he probably, like, played it terribly. But I want to get into this deck and just learn it. And I remember, like, I think I watched Team Samurai's video with DDD Dave to learn the deck more in depth. And I started learning the combos. Like, it looked up, like, a lot of things, and I learned the deck at a very, very like comfortable degree. And what I fell in love with the deck is just how many combos there actually are. Like there's so many combo lines and so many different combos you have. Like every hand combination just has a different combo line. It resembles a different hobby I have, which is chess. Like I really like playing chess, and it resembles chess puzzles, which is like you have an already set up board with pieces and places, and you have to find the best continuation from this point onwards. Like which move do you play? And if your opponent always responds with the best move, you have to win from this point basically, or get a winning position from this scenario. I really, really like this about the deck because it felt similar in a sense of if you do a misplay, you just lose. You are in a losing position, which is the same in these puzzles. There's only one winning move, and if you don't find it, you lose. And it was very similar in the sense of you need to find how to start a combo. Then during the combo, you have to find the best way to extend the combo, and then you need to know the best way to end the combo, what the end boss should be. And you have to always do an optimal play, because if you did something suboptimally, the deck would punish you.
Yeah.
Punish you very, very badly. And that's what I really, really liked about the deck, because it didn't feel like it would reward you for nothing. Like basically it felt like small steps at a time with a big outcome at the end.
Yeah, like it felt like every like plays you do is kind of an achievement, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And I never felt like the same way about decks like Goki or Dragon Link. For example, Dragon Link has just one line. You have this one line, you learn it, and it's just 2 dragons. If you get hand trapped on like somewhere, you just need another dragon to extend. And this is what I really, really didn't like about the deck, because it just felt like there's no chess puzzle in it. It's already figured out. It's already a solved game. And that's not the same with DDD when you played it, because you can't memorize all the combos. It always felt to me like, well, you can, but like there's no point in it with 20 different combos. You do them on the fly, kind of.
Yeah.
And you always like think, okay, I'm going to do this. No, I gotta do this. And there was like, this was the joy I had from DDD. And then like Master Rule 4 hit, and DDD just like, it can't keep up with Master Rule 4. Like Master Rule 4 killed the deck. And I would try to find something that would like hit me just the same way as DDD would. And it was Chalice. I remember like World Chalice was announced in the OCG, and I looked at it and I was like, this deck looks interesting, but like it seems like all the Link monsters, if they send to the graveyard, they like let you special summon. And the concept of like this link uplinking, like upgrading your Link monsters, linking a Link monster away to like get even a higher Link monster, this wasn't really like that much experimented with in that time. Like it was like, you know, you could do it, but it was like, why would you try to do that? But you just try to get a Link monster on the field to facilitate your synchro plays, your XZ plays. Like there was no point in linking off a Link monster to get a Link monster that makes even better things, because you would just be like, no, instead of getting a new Link monster, I just want to like facilitate my XZ combos or my fusion combos or my synchro combos. Like why would I link it off? And it was very, very, very like fresh, very new. And I started learning the deck, and I just fell in love with it. It was amazing. Like I remember, like I didn't really know what the end board should be, and I tried to like just make World Legacy, World Chalice end board, and like if it gets sent to the graveyard, I have recovery plays. And it also was like kind of a negate, because it stops extra deck summons, if I recall correctly. But just like this was the completely wrong way to play the deck, because it just like it feels very, very bad. It just does nothing.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of the same scenario with the World Crown.
Yeah,
like, it's
exactly.
an extender, but like you can use it as an end board because it has the same type of negate of tributing to negate an extra deck monster. But at the end, it's just an extender that make your plays.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like once I realized that, which was like I watched a lot of videos back then. I remember watching like DB YGO's video on it. I remember watching Livfim's video on it, and I was like, wait, it actually has so much potential. And I started playing it like differently, like how they did it, gave it my own twist, and I just kept with the deck. I loved the deck, and I felt like, yeah, this deck is just literally what DDD was to me, or still is to me. A chess puzzle. Every hand still feels like a chess puzzle to me, because if you look at my YouTube videos, I only generally like upload one combo video from like basically one line of World Chalice, which is like basically the same with IP Synchro line, for example. You're always trying to achieve IP Synchro and then extend. But to me, it felt like every hand did it differently, like try to go into like the ip synchro differently, or try to go into like the word chalice monster differently. It always felt you didn't have a clear way to go someplace.
Yeah, it's basically like 3-axis is from Cherubini and stuff. Compared to DDD, you have like that one combo that you can resolve from IB, but the way to access it is actually like the freestyle part.
Yeah, it's very hard to access it sometimes. Like, yeah, of course you have these starters like Draconet, but like if you don't draw them, what do you do? If they get ashed, what do you do? And for the reason, like Draconet gets ashed a lot of times. Like my Draconet got ashed like I think every other match it got ashed. And every time it got ashed, I went like activate Jackalope, go into Cherubini, like send Carbonadon and extend from there and just do the same play. And it works. It really works really well. Like Cherubini is such an insane card in that. And it helped a lot push through, and it gave the deck different lines. Like otherwise it would be just a summon Draconet and do or die.
Yeah, and like it will be like summon Draconet and play like eight things like Storavis and stuff, like exchange and things that get rid of entraps with 1-card combos.
Which I generally just don't like. And like Cherubini just gave it this twist of, wait, you can go into Cherubini, like send Carbonadon and just go ip synchro that way. And it was like to me it just felt like I always had this one red thread I would follow, which is like go into ip synchro and then do the Appaloosa play, go into LP, summon Roadhouse, target Lee, search Crestia, like which is like just like basically the line. But how do I access this line? And that was like to me the very like the fun part of it. Like everything else, like after that followed, felt very similar how Dragon Link.
It's like muscle memory.
Yeah, basically muscle memory. And that's what really like stuck with me. This hand is like a bit different. How I need to figure it out. I need to figure a way out to get to ip synchro, and that was very fun for me.
At that point, there was one main idea who began to appear in the 3-axis combo player's head, which will most likely revolutionize the way to play the deck and most other combo deck in general. This was the idea that instead of using the 3-axis engine with Cherubini to turbo out an enabler, we will now use the 3-axis engine with Cherubini to turbo out an enabler, but also protect it. This first era of 3-axis was amazing, and while most players, including me, were able to progress so much thanks to Hib and Cherubini, this happy dream had to come to an end after Hib was banned during a massive ban list. These 2 weeks were just horrible. Our favorite strategy was now dead, with no other possible ways we can imagine to combo off. But after these 2 weeks of mourning, of thinking what to do next, of thinking about quitting, me and my friend Eki aka What Cobra will rise up from our ashes and take about 2 to 3 days without barely sleeping to create what will most likely destroy the format month later. It wasn't even announced to come out in the TCG, but here we are with the interaction between Needlefiber, Linkros and Gardener's Maiden, which will mark the arrival of 3-axis 2020 and my biggest contribution to the deck. I was also confirmed to be in the right direction after I saw that Matteo Bertulezzi was able to reach the final of a YCS by an amazing performance in a format where Hib, Needlefiber and Linkros just weren't playable. This will also be the time where Konami give us an official deck name being 3-axis instead of the previous level 3 build. This just shows once again that the deck is able to compete with the higher tier of competition even after taking all those indirect hits on the ban list. Nowadays, with the arrival of Dragoon, even after the loss of Linkros, it is still possible to make an incredibly resilient build with also a solid backup plan being Verti and Anaconda included in our combos. Now that we broke down the history of the deck from my own research and experience, I will explain to you the basic things you need to know if you ever want to take your chance with that build. Firstly, there are at the moment 3 main type of build of 3-axis, at least in what I created. There is the modern 3-axis Dragon Link FTK that got a lot weakened by the ban list since the loss of Linkros, but it's still somewhat playable. In fact, Splatibus from the YGO lab was able to top multiple times in Remote Duels Invitational by using my combos and creating his own way of playing it. There is also the 3-axis Dark Warrior build that I'm the most proud of just because the interaction between Cherubini and Isolde was never made in the TCG before, but also because this is the most resilient 2-hand trap build I ever made until now. Then finally, after Link Cross ban, I had to find a way to combo off from only Needle Fiber for the Dragon Link build, so I ended up creating a type of mix between the two versions that we'll call 3-axis hybrid. Now, you might be wondering, what should you pick? Well, it's just up to your imagination. You can decide to train yourself with the main version I mentioned, but you can also try to innovate completely new build that I probably never thought about. I think it would be completely possible to make a 3-axis deck turboing a 4-axis combo under La Polusa. This can also be the same scenario for any new generic enabler we'll get in the future. You also have a complete freedom on your choice of starter and extenders. There isn't a proper rule to follow. You can adapt your list to your budget and what you already have at your home, while still be able to make it really powerful. The main idea you have to keep in mind while doing so is that 3-axis is a layer that you have to put into your combo in order to protect it from end trap, at least if you want to play it competitively. The other main advantage is that by playing specifically an FTK, you will never have bad matchup. Your deck will perform the same way against most matchup you will encounter. You will also gain a way to keep the same deck for a very long time just by tweaking and updating your combo pieces according to the ban list, but also according to what is played currently in the meta. And it is the same for sided cards and future enabler and starter/extender we can get in the future, like Tone Scale for example. And finally, you will be able to gain a deep understanding of the mechanic of this game, as well as finding in advance what may be the way to combo of tomorrow. When discovering a new card, you will automatically unconsciously think about ways to abuse it using the interaction you mastered yourself. When you think about it, the game plan of Dragon Link recently during the Link Cross format was the same than 3-axis. It was about turboing your enabler while setting up a layer of protection, for example with Herald for Dragon Link. And finally, you will be able to encounter just amazing people that are all working together in order to create the combo they are dreaming of. Now keep in mind, as you might already understood it, creating a combo, then building a deck around it, and then piloting it is an incredibly difficult task. It will most likely take you a lot of time to master everything you need to know about your own build. I'm personally still discovering new things every single day, but I can promise that it will be worth it at the end of the day, just because of all the knowledge you will have gained. And of course, all the information in this video are from my own experience and research, but also my own opinion. This isn't a video made to brag about achievement made in the past, but it's more about understanding the evolution of the power creep and the requirements you will need to perform with this type of combo in a competitive event. Also keep in mind that putting into words concepts that are this complicated is extremely hard, so there might be some mistake here and there. There is also surely some crazy information that I never knew about and that will probably be forgotten forever. Maybe this video has convinced you to give a chance to this deck that is underrated, and it will be awesome. But even if not, I hope that you have at least acknowledged how much skill and effort goes into combo creation. If you ever come across a combo that you didn't like for some reason, remember that we're all out here trying out our best. If we knew a better way to do it, we wouldn't hesitate to optimize it. But if you really think you can improve the current combos, then don't hesitate and try it out for yourself. Maybe you will find the new way to combo of tomorrow. I hope you liked this episode, and I promise the next episode will be much more simple. I just felt like telling you all of that happened with the deck, as well as the main idea behind it was a necessary step before diving deep into the combo. If you want to learn more about the deck, I suggest you to join the YCS Discord, where we theorize enough to write a novel. I also suggest you to join this Discord server that contains a lot of pretty cool FTK players. And lastly, I suggest you to join the Yu-Gi-Oh Lab, which is my Discord server, where there is also a pretty big number of combo players in it. Anyways, if you liked it, don't hesitate to subscribe, and thank you for watching.